What up, what up, what up, y'all?
What up?
I'm with my best friend here. This is Jerry Lemon, and we are Prince fans. You know, I already know who I am.
Show.
Yeah, so we want to give you an hour-long segment on how we feel about Prince and how he influenced our lives and on how his music shaped and molded some of the things we did. I'm a musician myself, and he got a big love for music, so we finna bring it to you right now, and we finna go into how we feel about Prince. So journey with us. So Jerry, you want to say something real quick?
Man, I don't know everything about Prince, but I just love his music. I play it all day, all night.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. You do.
I just love him to death.
What was the first song that really inspired you to really say Prince this is who I love, man, and who make music for me? You know.
Started on 1999.
Okay, and we listening to it right now.
It was like AOT-O-Matic. I heard that. I was like, this guy is awesome.
Out of this world.
I had seen him in a concert, but I really get into him, until like Controversy 1999 hit. That was just a rap for me after that. I've been bumping ever since.
Yeah, but he got me into it, This is a little story here because, he a little bit older than me, and him and some of my other friends that was his age, that kind of raised me when I was coming up. They was really big Prince fans, and I was a big Michael Jackson fan. I no knock on Mike. I still love Mike to this day, but that's all I listened to was the Jackson 5 and Michael Jackson, and I had another friend my age. Shout out to you, Daniel Givens, and he was a big Prince fan as well as Jerry and my friend Ron. Shout out to Ron Bowers and Marcellus Merriweather. Corey. Shout out to all y'all. All of these guys influenced me, and they got me into Prince. And around this time right here, 1999, this was the first album by Prince I bought, and after that, the rest was history. Yeah, definitely, man. But you went to some of the shows, though.
Some with Rick James.
Wow.
Some again with Rick James.
Man, see, I
some solo. Myself at the time. Vanity 6. Awesome shows, people. Awesome. Rare form. He was rare form. Wish I could have seen him later on, and when all the other shows like Musicology, all that good stuff, but. He didn't want to come back here for a while. No, couldn't come back here for a while.
Yeah, but hey, explain how he got banned from here, though. That's when I was a shorty. I wish I could have been at them shows. I was too young.
But it was crazy. It was on tour Rick James. 1999 just came out. He was had the bed on stage. He was humping the bed. Humping on the
Prince
bed.
was wild.
I guess they was like, cut it off for him. No more of this guy for a couple of years. It took about 20 years for him to come back. Almost 20 years for him to get back here.
Yeah. He came back to the Bradley Center.
It was crazy.
By the way, y'all, we in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So, in case y'all didn't know where we was at. Yeah, we in the cold mill, man.
Man, it's crazy though. That was a good show. I mean, to be like a high school kid seeing him and put stuff in your head, like I'm gonna change the way we dress, the way we act, See the time come on, he was all dressed up, cool, they came out saying cool, everyone thought they was the time of Prince back then. It's one of the two, we're still part of the same group though, but
that's
at the time.
Ooh, man. Yeah, and he always talked to me about that, and I was always like, dang, I wish I could have went. And most I got to see in Prince was to his concerts, man. When I got grown, I still didn't see him, and then he ended up passing away. Rest in peace. But yeah, man, I always was saying that. I was like, dang, man, I wish I could have seen him in concert. And I had another friend of mine who actually met him. Rest in peace. He's no longer here with us as well, and he said it was an amazing experience too. But okay, now this is Little Red Corvette, but it's a lot of different songs that play some of the songs that you like. Because Jerry, every time I come over here, He always playing the hottest shit by Prince. I ain't lying.
This is one of my songs.
Yeah, buddy. This is probably my favorite song on this entire album. This is to this date my favorite album by Prince, but Sign of the Times is my second favorite.
Okay.
But nowadays, since I've grown, it's between Controversy and Sign of the Times. I don't know which one.
Okay, yeah.
You know, it's just kind of like, you know, they kind of neck and neck. You know, it's kind of like I want to say Controversy afterwards now, but Sign of the Times had a big impact on me too.
I'm still keep.
Man, that's
still keep 99 cents. You know, the remaster is a little better. The quality's better now.
Oh yeah, way better.
And you hear all the little stuff in the background you never heard before. It's just like, so I gotta. If they do a Controversy opening, hey, we won't know. Hopefully they do that.
Yeah, I hope so.
That's
the next one you gotta do. Take it all back because he,
do all this.
Man, like
that's all of them.
Yeah.
Come on, family, you gotta do it.
But speaking of For You, man, you should go back and play some of that because, like, For You, for a lot of you artists, well, a lot of you people that are big Prince fans, y'all already know. So
you gotta play
you know. We just basking in the glow of showing love like y'all do. But for some of y'all that don't know, this very first album by Prince was put out in 1978. It was called For You. And
smash shit. I remember
it was amazing.
We went to Radio Doctors and we had a record store here called Radio Doctors.
Yep, I remember it.
And I bought a record. I ain't gonna say what it was.
Down on rails.
Only he has no 45. Only he has no 45.
Yeah, you hear that?
Was on the other side, and I think So Blue was on the other side.
Okay, yeah, that's on here.
And I guess
that song was raw too.
It went home and I'm like, who's this guy Prince? You know, and I was like, what? So I grabbed it, played it. I'm like, wow, this cat is off the way. You know, I wasn't but 78, probably 10 or 11 playing this. I'm like, okay. I really know what he meant by soft way back then.
Shit, you know.
But yeah, it was.
We all know now.
We know now, but it was a jam, boy.
Yeah, it was,
man. Ever since.
Yeah, I remember when I first heard it, man. I was a shorty. I was little, and it had been out for a while. But you know, like the thing with me is when I got into Prince, it was probably like in '82. And then I went back and listened to all of that, you know. And I was
same thing I did after I heard,
you know,
Controversy.
I was a young kid.
Other three, and it was like, man,
because I was a young kid, '70s baby, '80s kid, you know. So, you know, and but with Jerry, you know, being a '60s baby and a '70s kid, he heard all of this music, and by me knowing Jerry, because by the way, y'all, Jerry is my longest friend that I've known. I consider him a best friend to me. I've known Jerry for 41 years. That's a long time to know somebody.
That's a long time.
You know,
still going too. That's the thing.
Exactly. Still alive. Exactly. God has blessed us, man.
Brothers ain't making it no more like they used to.
They ain't, man. They ain't. That's why we trying to stay that way, and we trying to get our kids to make it like that. That's what's very important. You know, but this album right here, this was an amazing album, and I heard Prince, and I didn't know he played all his own instruments on this album, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, this is incredible.
I just thought, yeah. I didn't think it was him either. I was like, okay. It said, he's an American band, and I'm like, okay, so he got a band with him. And the next thing you know, I'm like, did it himself? I'm like, what?
Yeah, man, that was crazy.
Genius.
A genius in the making. He was, man. I mean, a lot of people didn't know that at first, and they found out.
They slept on him.
Yeah, they slept on Prince for a while, but then, you know, it took 1999 to put him out there. You know, I think Controversy created a buzz with his core fans, but I think 1999 put him in the mainstream, and then Purple Rain. Ooh, forget about it when Purple Rain came out.
You caught all this.
Yes.
You caught his mainstream fans.
Sure did, man.
They were hooked on him. That's all they played.
Yeah, that's all.
Rain does cry around like.
Yeah.
We got better stuff than that out.
17 days though. That the single, the 45 single, and I know a lot of y'all young.
Okay.
But the ones that are in our bracket, you know, perhaps a little younger or a little older, y'all know about 12 inches and 45s. and he had 17 days on the flip side of that. And it was, that's all Daniel played. He was like, I was like, dog, 17 days. And then I heard it and I was like, what? Because, you know, I was all about Michael Jackson. I was Thriller, Off the Wall. You know, I
come outside with the album.
Yeah, for real. Come outside with the album, showing them to everybody, you know. So that was.
We ain't trying to hear that, man. You know, we ain't trying to hear the king of pop. You know?
We love him, but, you know, taking nothing away from him, but I didn't know how brilliant Prince was, you know, until you and a couple of other people around me, you know, did that. So I got to credit that to you, my brother. I do. Definitely, you know. I mean, this brother always been a cool brother. He always been him. He ain't tried to be nobody else. He ain't tried to be in the streets. He ain't tried to be prim and proper, you know, where he don't do no wrong. He ain't tried to be wild. He just been Jerry.
That's how
you know. Yeah.
Be me, wherever I go.
Yeah.
The streets, I gotta be me. Home, me. You know, wherever I'm at.
You don't find that a lot. They don't make them like that no more. But, hey, matter of fact, but I ain't gonna say that. Go with Wayne gonna kill. He'll come out. I ain't gonna say that. But anyway, man, everybody that know me know what I'm talking about. Yeah, man, it's just the thing that Prince was a big inspiration within my life, and especially within his life. You know? That's soft and wet right there. This was his first hit right here. And I know a lot of y'all know about this, but a lot of y'all don't. You know?
The other version now, the version ain't all dressed up, you know, the raw version. That's tight too. You gotta hear that one.
The world is out here for it.
It's on YouTube, whatever, check it out.
Check it out, yeah.
I heard it one day, I was like, man, this is tight, you know?
It's super tight. I heard it and I was like, wow. Because I'm one of them people that tend to like the raw sound more so than all the polished shit. Yeah, I've always been that way. You know? Unless you just the hottest motherfucker since cooked food, putting out music and it's polished. Because I got a homie like that. Shout out to St. James, man. You got some of the most polished music in the world, but it's hot. And when I mean polished, everything is just right. It's just the way it's supposed to be. And a lot of people can't pull that off. A lot of artists cannot do that. And you did it. And that's what makes you, that's the raw brilliance of it. Yeah, for sure. But, you know, with Prince, you know, a lot of his stuff was polished too. His later stuff. And that's kind of what I hate to say it, but that's what I liked about him. He stood out with that because nobody else, like he always did raw stuff. So to hear him do polished stuff, it was like, whew, wow, you know, couldn't nobody else do that.
Yeah, after Purple Rain, they kind of got polished up real good. Listen to that.
But it sounded so good though. You know, it made the world listen, you know, because when your shit is like super polished and it's like just solid and can't be touched, that's when the whole world listens. But when you got raw shit, that's when you create a buzz. That's how you get the fans, you know, and they be like, he owns some, whoa. You coming on stage, you know, and then when you hear that.
With the trench coat, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody was. Rick James wasn't even doing that. Rick James wasn't even doing that.
What's this cat on? You know?
Yeah.
He's gentle, but I don't know about the dressing part, bro. But
right. But I hate to say it, it worked for Prince. You know, like it for him, it looked raw on him because that was his image. And like David Bowie, he did the same thing. His earlier days, Space Oddity, Ground Control, Major. That all of that stuff he was doing then was just like what Prince was doing with that. The androgyny fashion. That was that was who they were when they first came out. And then you notice they changed it up. They started wearing suits. They started getting polished. But it was refined. It was rich.
Like, nobody got a suit and a tie on nice and neat, you know?
Yeah.
All crispy clean on there.
Yeah.
Hair did all fresh. No makeup on. You know, he was just like, I just hit Dave.
That's what was so raw about it, though, man, because it was so fresh and rich. Like, you know, I like that, too. You know, it's crazy because they were the only two artists that could do that. You know, and get away with it. Especially this guy, man. He was looking at the Bowies and the Jimi Hendrix and the Sly Stones. You know, he wanted a diverse group because Sly and the Family Stone was a diverse group, which is another group I grew up listening to. Larry Graham, not so much until I got older, and I didn't realize how brilliant and raw he was. As a man, motherfuckers was looking at me like, you don't like Larry Graham? That's like Graham, nigga.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
I was a Brother Johnson guy myself.
I was too. Yes. George and Lewis.
Yes.
Rest in peace, Lewis.
Yes, sir.
But yes, I was a Brother Johnson's fan because of this man. Yep.
I was like, I heard brother, I'm like, ooh, he got to Larry. I guess his singing didn't hit my ear. Maybe that's what it was.
No, I mean, a lot of people was used to the funk, and then when they heard 1 in a Million, they didn't think that his style would change that drastic, and we were like, wow. I was like, man, because you know he was funking out, you know, but I guess you get that, you know. I mean, record labels and stuff sometimes be in your ear, but at the same time, you be in your own ear because you be thinking that, like, well, I want to change.
You get the slow song for Larry. I know.
Exactly. I'm used to the funk, man. You know. So yeah, that was
crazy. I remember hearing that too, and I'm like, me and you.
Yeah, I know. A lot of motherfuckers is like,
I don't be about this no more.
Yeah, but his old shit, boy. Graham Central Station, Larry Graham. That's genius. Check it out, man.
It was a hit.
They was on hit, man. They was funking out for real.
I just not getting into it myself. Last 2 years, I've been getting back. That Larry, all that old stuff.
The only other funketeer that's raw than that is Bootsy. And, you know, I got a shout out to Bootsy, man.
He's still putting out stuff.
Real Bootzilla.
He's still putting out stuff to this day.
That's my boy, man. I can't stay away from you. That's my boy. So, you know, I know all about that. But this man right here pulled from all of those.
Yeah.
He pulled from all of them geniuses.
You just listen to some of this stuff.
One man playing 26 instruments, producing his whole album. You know,
this whole Minneapolis crew. You know?
Yeah.
In a couple of months. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I used to get one time album, 1 month, next month. You know, Vanity didn't have to do your own album still.
Exactly.
So they kept your own stuff tight for you, but you want their stuff to be tight though.
And having it tight, everything is like top notch. I was like, wow, man, how's he doing it?
I know he did that like back to back. You know, they said, you know, Time came out first, got Money, and bam, he came out. I'm like, all I can, like 2-3 months span and stuff. I'm like, really?
And he was producing everything on the Jamie Star for them. You know, that was his production name, the Star Company. So, you know, that's so crazy too, because the thing is, we as fans, we knew that. We knew that. That's what made it so brilliant. He didn't care if you knew or not.
This music sounds kind of familiar, like, you know. Then he made it so different than his stuff. It was like
he made it different,
totally
but
different from my stuff. Time was totally different. You know, I told you, I'm like, it really was.
But then if you listen carefully, you hear them background vocals of his voice, of hints of Prince's background vocals all throughout them songs, and I'm like, wow.
I'm embarrassed to say I didn't catch on to hearing him singing, you know, cool back in the day. You know?
I didn't either.
Yeah, you know,
I ain't gonna lie. I definitely didn't. I mean, y'all brought that to my attention.
Yeah, I mean, y'all over that album.
I remember y'all said that too. Y'all was like, man, go back and listen to The Stick, because The Stick on the Times album was all sang by Prince, dang near. and you hear it throughout it. And I listen to it over and over.
Because I'm like, wait a minute.
And that's all you hear. That's all you hear. Like, it's crazy. And then the walk, you know, in the dialect and all of that, with the talking, you hear Prince all throughout that. Him and Vanity. And
Morris, he was just he was just there.
Yeah, but Morris was a drummer. Morris was like the driving force really behind Prince before he became, you know.
You can hear him on the 1999.
Andre Simone too. Shout out to you.
AC.
Man, AC living in the new wave, bro. Yes. Voice on the radio. Kelly's Eyes. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. You know, like, these are classics. And they did that. Listen to this.
My classic right here.
This is Bambi right here.
I mean, he didn't it open with a Third Eye Blind girl, but
yeah,
you may have heard it on
Third Eye Blind was great though. I loved them. Them girls, they could rock. I ain't lying to you. I was like, whoo. I saw a performance from Prince before they died. Before he died, not them. Let me take that back. Before he died, and it was something in the water. The guitar performance was close to Hendrix.
He got so many versions that now
you gotta sift through it. He got at least 7-8 different versions of that.
It's still one of my favorite songs on 1999, "Sitting in the Water." I love "Free."
Yeah, "Free" was really deep.
That was one of the things that got in my head when I was younger, hearing "Free." Yep. I was like, man,
free to be my mind, free to go most anywhere, anytime. Like, be free. Do your music. Do what you want to do. Put that on. You know, you got to play free for him since we're talking about it.
You guys that young back in the day was that young. Hearing something free, you know, you like.
You don't,
stick in your head. Stick in your head.
Yeah.
Like, man. I was like, man. That cat changed my life, boy.
It's for the better. For the better. Definitely for the better, man. Because we could have been doing a lot of shit, man. We could have been into a lot of stuff that other people around us was into, and we wasn't. And I did get into it later, to thank God for getting me out, but I made some bad choices. But this man, for so many years, listening to his music and wanting to be a musician is what kept me away from it as long as it did. You know, this is free right here. This is an incredible song. I know all my Prince fans watching right now, you know, so they already know.
Purple Family, they know what time it is. Purple Family, we know.
Absolutely. Yes. Listen to the falling rain.
That's crazy.
It is, man. I remember when I first heard this, man, I was a shorty, man, and I used to play it over and over and over. I wasn't even a teenager. Far from it. Like,
I was
listening to it and just.
I was a freshman in high school when this came out. And shout out truck driver Mike.
Yeah, shout out to you, bro. We ain't heard from you. Where you at? That's the question.
But all the fellas, you know, back in the neighborhood bump this. Riding around late at night bumping this.
Yeah, this is.
They wasn't embarrassed to cut it off too.
No, not at all. Not at all. Like the hardest niggas that I hung around was Prince fans and would bump this shit. I'm not gonna lie to you.
And Michael Jackson too.
Exactly.
Hard too.
They was bumping the shit out of Michael Jackson.
Oh, that slow song on that, man.
Yes.
Come on now, y'all.
and I'm not gonna sugarcoat. Like, and when I say that, I mean hardened motherfucking criminals that we were hanging around that I knew, some perhaps in my own family, was bumping Prince and was bumping Michael Jackson, 90 going the East, loud as I don't know what.
I'd be like, dude, you cut that down.
You're right. You a killer, but you listening to this.
You probably robbed me.
Yeah, exactly. You know, or I'm in the car with you. Let me out before you rob this man. You know, we
good times.
Yeah.
It was good fun though.
We did. Definitely. This my big brother. I ain't lying to you.
You know where you want to back then. You got to worry about.
You
what's going on in the world now.
Man, we go to Chicago every weekend, you know, because Chicago is my home away from home. I'm next door. We next door. We go there. Don't nothing go there. We know everybody. See, we cool. Ain't nobody fucking with us, you know. I got family there too. Shout out to you, Miss Dorothea, my cousin.
Chirac, what's up?
A lot of other people. Chirac, what's up, y'all? But much love on that tip. But yeah, when we were growing up, man, music saved us. You know, and listening to Prince, really, me as a musician, really made me tune in to teaching myself how to play instruments. And, you know, a lot of people in my group don't know this, but I play instruments as well. You know, I don't, a lot of times I don't talk about it because I don't want to take the spotlight off of them because they you know, they brilliant as fuck. But, you know, when it's time for me to let the world know when someone interviews me, I'll let it come out. But, you know, Prince was a big influence on me playing instruments. And, you know, on me not wanting to be out there versus wanting to be in the studio. You know, so that.
I know musicians, a new bass player, a new lead player, a new keyboardist, a new drummer.
Marcellus Merriweather was one of the coldest bassists. Ronald Bowers is a cold drummer.
Yes, he is, Bowers.
You know, Ron Bowers, check him out. Ron he ain't no joke.
You know, to my son Marquise.
Yeah, shout out to Marquise. Definitely.
Bad drummer.
Definitely.
On that Metallica style.
Yeah, your dad said you love Metallica. Yes, sir. I love it about you.
Still telling me drummer, son.
Yeah. Yes.
So these music was stayed in family, you know. I made that play. He went.
Yeah, but so
that's so.
You got so much love for music, man. People think you play.
Yeah, really
that's what we all thought you. Well, yeah, I knew you didn't, but everybody around me thought you did. Yeah, I was like, man, that nigga know how to pick the best music.
I play, you know, I play the DJ or something.
Man, I was like, man, that nigga cold. Man, that nigga know how to pick the best music.
And that's what I wanted to be. Man, I want to go to Marshall, you know, for DJ, you know, for music. But they had that going there at Marshall. Couldn't get in, had to go to Madhouse.
Oh, yeah.
Madhouse.
Yeah, shout out to the Madhouse.
That's school I went to.
I heard y'all.
I went there.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I want to shout out to Vincent, but I ain't stay at most of the schools, man. I was one of them kids, them revolving door kids who was in and out of school, and I went to alternative schools, but mistakes I made that now are mistakes that I am trying to clean up. I make sure my child don't make those mistakes. You know, I'm a different person. God has gave me a chance.
You better than me in school. Don't be like I was.
Yeah. Yeah. So now explain some of the B-sides that Prince did, how that shit influenced you.
A lot of good B-sides he had. A lot of them. I love the B-sides he had. I think I like the B-sides more than sometimes like the regular albums.
I was thinking that. That's the same thing I was thinking.
Some, like, this is one of them. Then my guy Mike had hooked me on this one. He brought the little 12-inch over. I'm like, no, you got today. I'm like, after we bumping it after that, boy.
Yeah, that's cool shit.
Like, hello, you know, Escape. Gotta Stop Messing About.
Oh man, Gotta Stop Messing About was the tune. Play that.
Matter of fact, we gonna start.
Here it is. Now, y'all Prince fans know this.
Yeah.
But the ones that know about Prince and want to know that ain't heard it, here it is.
And get that the hits and the B-sides.
That's when he sang in that falsetto. You know, he had that high pitch. That's the falsetto voice.
17 Days, like he's Always in My Hair.
Oh man, She's Always in My Hair was one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, Why Don't You Call Me Anymore. Another one with Christmas.
Alicia Keys remade that. How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore? You did a great job too. Yeah. Definitely. A lot of people don't cover Prince like that. But you did your thing, baby girl. Definitely. Seriously. If you watching this,
sang it just like him, and they shouldn't sing it like him. They just sing it their own way.
Yeah, I mean, you know, everybody got their own, you know. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I feel like, you know, certain people that sing it different, they still are great singers. That's just, you know, their way of paying tribute. You still gotta respect that.
Like on the Grammy, that guy was singing. My friend Usher was up there doing the songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he did good.
Gail was doing some songs.
Yeah, they, you know, they did their thing. You know, they they studied Prince, so, you know, and they did it, and I was like, yeah, I can appreciate that. You know, it ain't gonna sound like Prince because that ain't him, but, you know, the way you represent Prince is you. You know, like I always tell people, the way you represent him is real, because you can't represent him no other way. You can't represent him like he represented himself, because that's Prince.
Yeah, so many B-sides. Can you keep up with them?
Man, so many B-sides, man.
Sometimes, man, why don't you put this on just for my album? But he was like, nah. He wasn't feeling it then.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
I don't want it.
Yep.
Or give a song to this person, person. He's like,
yep.
It's like, yeah. We gave some song to Andre Simone, gave some to Jesse Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep. He used songs that he did with 94 East, a couple of them that he didn't even put out, but he remade, and I thought was cool, you know. So a lot of different stuff. But, you know, you had the experience of going to Minneapolis and seeing Paisley Park. Talk about that. I haven't been there, so I'll tell the world what your experiences was on that. But
the time of my life there, the security guard said, the first time here, if it is, you might be crying. And I said, oh, brother, don't be saying that.
Uh-huh.
Then we walked around.
If you're a fan, you are going to say something. You're going to get sentimental.
And then we walked in. I was like, wow.
The hardest nigga will.
Like, wow. Just, I don't know, man, the door he came in every day, and, you know, walked up the steps in the studio, saw the studio, saw the, his famous basketball hoop that Chappelle made fun of.
Wow. Yeah. And, Breakfast can wait. You know, that was a raw song.
And
Horny Toad.
It was just amazing to be there. I mean, just to see like this studio, that studio. Man. I mean, he'd be in this studio. He said Sheila be over there on the drums, and somebody else be over in another studio, you know, on the guitar, just it's all by themselves. He just loved it. You know, had pictures on the wall. Had a picture of some artwork. People that didn't know what I mean about the artwork he had on the wall. That one wall, how people influenced him, you know. And
Steve,
man, I'm trying to get this guy here.
Yeah, I want to get there.
I'm trying to get him
there.
Going
on. I will get there. True indeed.
Come on, Minneapolis, get right. Let me come down
here. There's a lot going on with me and everything else. So, but I'm gonna get there. He right. He been trying to get me there. I want to get there.
Try to get back, you know, next month or sooner, but we should get there though.
Yeah, definitely.
It was a good time.
It's worth it.
I mean, everybody there was loving Prince. Everybody had their own little story to tell.
Wow.
Man. You know, I met people
That's amazing, brother.
I met people from all over the world. It was there all over. I saw the
beauty of it.
I saw like the little wall they had, you know, part of graffiti on the wall. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Beautiful artwork. People that did that. Beautiful artwork. They post, you know, put pictures up of them. I wrote a little note on the wall.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. That's what's happening.
Missed you so. And it's a good time there. Walking down that little trail, it was like, wow, you know. He was all over this place.
It was almost surreal, probably.
I felt it. I was like, man.
Yeah, you could feel that energy.
I said, no, I just tough it up for a minute. I tough it up. I would have to walk around. I ain't want to, though, y'all. Hey, it was straight, though. Had a good time. Loved it.
Yeah, I know you did. And I'm going to get there. I definitely am going to get there. And,
you know, originals.
Oh, wow. Yeah. He did release the originals, and I was really shocked and surprised when Jerry let me hear it, because I heard it through Jerry. I knew it had came out. And, like, listening to all these hits that he produced for, you know, all these brilliant artists, and to hear him do it, I was like, ooh. I had that look like,
oh, you did this.
Ooh, wow. You know how you had that look when a beat come on and and it hit you and you just be normal, and then you be like, I gotta take my glasses off. Where you be like this and you be like,
really? You did that? I told him to sing it just like
and
this.
Had that look on your face like, man, you know, like, shit, he did that shit. And they sang it exactly the way he had them sing. Wow, you know, so that's a big deal to me, man, because I did not realize how much music Prince actually did for his artists. And I knew he did a lot, but I didn't realize he did that much.
Yeah, it was like, what shocked me was that song he did for Kenny Rogers on here. That shocked me. I was like, he did that song.
That's for the world. Some of y'all don't know it. A lot of y'all
I went to listen to Kenny Rogers' version. I was like, wow, he's singing it.
I do like Kenny Rogers, man. I liked him in The Gambler. I liked what he did with Lionel Richie. I like his stuff, but I just didn't know that he did nothing with Prince.
Yeah, me either. Man, it took this for me to know that.
That's deep.
What other song? Artiga's Kitchen, was it?
Mm-hmm. I think so. Yeah.
You know,
100 miles an hour.
Bad Boys from Paisley, you know.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Maserati.
Shout out to Brown Mark crew.
Shout out.
And this was my jam. I heard this. I was like, this is fire. I know he did it. I thought Brown had did it.
Yeah.
Through the years on by, I said, "Oh, Prince did this. Okay, it's not my fault. I'm giving the wrong man credit." This was a jam, though. Check out that Brown Mark.
Yeah, check it out. That's the song right there. Oof. Man, I've been popping these bottles all day, y'all. I'm normal. I'm human. You know, y'all see me do my thing, but shit, fuck that. We pop bottles.
AKA Ciroc boy too.
Yeah, he is a rock boy. He love that. You know, I ain't gonna tell you what I'm drinking.
Yeah, go down smooth. That's why I drink it.
we mess with that good shit. It's top shelf. You know.
What else he had? He did some all that stuff he did for Sheila.
Yeah, he did. He did a lot for Sheila, man.
You know, Holly Rock, that's my jam.
Yeah, man, I can't believe he wrote that.
Okay.
I really don't. You know,
since he didn't like rap. He claimed he didn't like rap.
He liked money.
Yeah, money talks.
You ain't gotta.
My boy Nino said. You know, y'all know the movie.
Man, you ain't gotta be like everybody else, but shit, man. If you like money, you like money, nigga. I love hip hop. I love rap. Yep. I love rock. I love funk. I love classical. I love jazz, especially that when I was coming up, man. Soul. I love soul. All this shit was in my household. Around the people I was around. Funk. Yeah.
I heard Al Green 1 minute.
And then you hear Confunction the next minute, and you was like, oh, our players.
So I'm like, I'm hearing all of this. I'm like, I don't know what to do.
No doubt. That's how I was. So, you know, with me, you know, I don't box nothing and nothing. I like everything. You know, you ain't gonna get me in a box. Hey, you get a motherfucker that be like, I really don't like this shit.
Come on, y'all, listen to everything.
And I'm like, all right, well, yeah, you entitled to your opinion. Like what you like, but I think you got more of a broader spectrum with your music if you listen to every genre that's out. Get diverse.
Yeah, maybe that's why everybody's like, you play music all? I'm like, yeah, because you want to hear.
Because you want to hear everything, man. You listen to everything.
Yeah, I'm like, gospel, everything. You gotta.
Yolanda Adams is awesome. I love Mahalia Jackson. You know, I mean, a lot of people, you know, got this thing going on with Tamela Mann and Yolanda Adams, like who is the best? And I ain't gonna really go there because they both make great music.
You know? Be like, oh, you shouldn't have said that.
So they all good. I mean, like they all represent, and I can't turn. Gayla James, she's another one. She done been on my show. I did a written article on her. I'm also do a live one eventually. Shout out to you. She got some hot gospel. You know, she coming from the heart.
Step it up to do it. More up to date Prince.
Yeah, this
fans
is
that caught on late.
Yeah, definitely, and I know y'all can appreciate this. This was what he did when he was on Warner Brothers before he passed away. Right here, this is Prince, y'all.
Jam right here.
Yeah, it is.
When I was like, the beat sound familiar. I kept listening to it. As soon as I heard his mouth, I said, "What? He did this?"
I can't believe he did it.
As soon as I heard that,
it's like I was like it really took me by surprise because when I first heard it, Quentin was like, "Have you heard it?" He sent shit to me and he was like, "Dog, listen to it." And I heard it and I'm like, this Prince?
Yeah, I was bumping Satellite, and
I'm like, what?
And this came on. I was like, I was getting ready to reach for it, and I heard his voice. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I'm like, man, he did that, but his record label embraced it. They gave him all his masters back, and he came back into the game, and he was free, and you could hear it. You could hear it. It's like a breath of fresh air, man, because like Prince was the most awesome musician and the most brilliant musician in the world, but after he got his masters back, I heard like in his voice like a release. Like he wasn't tensed. It didn't sound like he was stressed. From my opinion. This is my opinion, people.
Yeah. I mean, the Prince songs I love, you know, the average brother may not like them. Or
right.
Sister may not like them, you know, but
but
you know,
those are.
I didn't like them all.
Yeah, really, I do too. Like them all, that's how I see it like that too. So, those are the best.
I may play one or two more than the next one, but no. I can play this right now and be like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
But on the street,
it's like you can pretty much play anything by Prince, no matter how old or new it is, and it's just not outdated. It's not dated.
They gonna write past and look like old head gonna be loud. It's like, I see you, bro.
Yeah, but somebody 30, they're gonna be like, oh yeah.
Yeah, this they will.
And somebody in their 40s like me, they're gonna be like, well, yeah, I already know. But I might be surprised that you 20-something listening to that, or you 30 listening to it, because I'm 40-something.
Or your mama car or somebody. You know
Exactly.
The guy on his motorcycle, I was coming home one day. He was bumping the time, 779311. And I heard it from a distance. I'm like, I swear I hit a time coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
The dude blew past me on the motorcycle. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So I knew he was like, you know, my
he was a diehard fan. Yeah. It's only the ones that you know that's younger than you that look that way and they listening to it. And you be like, what? Like Scooby-Doo. Like, what the fuck? This motherfucker. Hey, I gotta give you respect. But then if you talk to me about Prince and we get on the discussion, I'm gonna try to figure out how you know this motherfucker. What made you get into Prince? You know, was it your parents, or is it your homies? Is it your girl? You know, or is it your guy? You know, either way it goes. Yeah, exactly. Because whoever the fuck you are, you listening to Prince and you young, you gotta have some type of history from somebody else, you know. Unless you like me when I was young, just love the art of old stuff and just go to the most random person that you heard your folks listening to and get into them deep.
That was,
you know,
my pops, he played Saturday morning, Saturday night.
Yeah.
Still from Ohio players.
Yeah.
Earth Wind.
Yeah.
That's how I heard of that.
That's all my pops bumped Sly a lot when I was growing up. That's why I was that into Sly like that. My granny loved blues.
The average white man, I heard of that. Chicago.
Yeah, Pops loved Chicago, and he loved Rare Earth.
Yep.
And Led Zeppelin and all of these you know, rock artists as well as these soul artists, and that's how we
heard it all.
Yeah, we heard it all. That's how we got into it, and it was just. The rest was history with us in life, you know. Like, listen to this right here, 3121. Yeah, that song. This is an incredible song by Prince. You know?
Some people slept on it, some didn't.
Yeah, I know ain't none of y'all sleeping on it now if y'all a Prince fan.
Okay, but not.
You know,
I know y'all remember that Sunday Times remastered.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up this morning bumping it. I wanted to bump it at work, but I couldn't because our workplace is too loud, so I really can't hear nothing. But at break time, I turned it up.
I know you did.
Turned it up.
I know you did, bro. I know it. You know it.
Some of the songs, y'all may hear before. Some songs be like, oh, wow, you put that on here? Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Straight though.
Yeah, I love that, man.
Play your song, man. The Dolphin Man. And a song for this guy in a minute.
Yeah, that's a funny story behind that song. I ain't lying. This song that he about to play the story is funny as hell. Because like when I was coming over here, he always played the song. But you know, cause Jerry he had to be having a birthday party, or his wife would be they have some type of party because they throw some great parties as well. And
We try.
you know, you bring this shit and all this shit into the mix, and
Food, good people,
and food and good people around you, like he said, and you forget the songs, but they stay in your head. So this song was in my head, I think, shit, almost 2 months before I even knew what the fuck it was. And I was like, that's Prince. But I the next day when I go home, it kept playing in my head. And I was like, what the fuck is the name of that song? And I was like, I don't know what the fuck the name of that song is. And I kept telling Jerry, dude, what the fuck is the name of that song? And he was like, what song?
I don't know what you're talking about. I really don't.
And I was like, I don't know this shit. And then he came over and played it one day, and I said, that's the motherfucking song. I was like, that's that motherfucker right there. And I looked at it. I was like, what the fuck? What's the name of it? And then I saw it was Dolphin. And that's how
had too much of the bubbly people that day. That's why he did it.
Man.
And I definitely don't. I had too much myself.
Yeah, because he sure kept saying, what song? He was like, Ma, what song is that? And I'm like, you don't know. But then, like, he played a bunch of songs, and it wasn't it. And then one day,
I played too much one day, and I'm like,
I came over one day, and I wasn't thinking about it. He played it, and I was like, that's it. And then, you know, the rest is history, and I've been playing it ever since. The gold experience, man. And
I gotta admit, I slept on this when it first came out.
I totally slept on it.
For a minute. I did kind of leave for a heartbeat. I kind of left. But then I came on back, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
I want my other style of music. I want, a little jazz. Went to jazz for a little bit. Went to rock for a little bit.
Yeah, man, we was bumping Master P because we watched No Limit. Shout out to you, Master P, and the No Limit special. I love it, man. It was gracious, man. It was hot. We was bumping No Limit. We was bumping all No Limit Soldiers straight down the line. Me and X,
he came out like
Mac, man, Soldier Slim, Silk the Shocker. You know what I mean? What's our boy? What's his brother? C Murder, Mystical, man, Magic, Fiend. Man, we was bumping all that, man. I ain't lying to you, man. You really paid the way for entrepreneurs. I ain't gonna lie.
You really did.
Seriously.
Blueprint. See?
Real.
He kept doing it.
He was too.
Trump,
and then to his
on the wall of record store did that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, man, we look at entrepreneurs like that, and we look at artists that made a difference in his life. And a lot of my artists, all the artists, because they ain't my artists, but a lot of the artists that post on my page and that I've had on my show and that I've done interviews on, they the same way. Just look for them. Just keep looking for them, because they're gonna be just like that. They all entrepreneurs. We all stars. They all stars. We all stars.
What you do?
Yeah, exactly. And this man right here, he got me into Prince so deep, man, until I just was like him and everybody else around me like him that was in the Prince. I ain't had no choice but to conform and get on the bandwagon. you know, shit. And it was just
it's crazy. I mean, back in the day, they had posters, so I had my whole wall. So every wall had a picture of Time, Vanity, Apollonia, Prince, AC, whoever. I don't know.
It was just
whoever
a lot.
This guy was down with.
Yeah.
I was bumping it.
Jesse Johnson, man, Tamara in the Scene, like all of these different groups that sounded like Prince and was related to them. It was a rap. We was listening to it. I'm telling you, man, that was the real deal with us. That's my experiences with Prince.
Purple Nation.
Purple Nation, definitely. What's your definition of Purple Nation? Tell them.
Oh Lord, don't even lie. Nah, Urban Nation is just like, no, just the, just the whole Prince family. That's the, to me, that's just the Prince family. Just like when at Paisley Park, it was just like all of us against like everybody else there. Seemed like, I mean, we was all there like on one accord. And y'all,
yeah,
one accord. Just
all fans,
fans of the. Just a love of Prince.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was my definition of Purple Nation. Just love it. Yeah. You can tell that everybody was there, white, black, whatever you.
Yeah, whatever
race you were.
That's the beauty.
Whatever race you were, that top out with. We were all,
yeah.
Everybody was friendly. Everybody was nice. We all, I want to take pictures. This wall. Okay, I'm gonna walk away. If you can take pictures, it wasn't like, oh man, really, like.
Wow, it was all peace and love. See, that's what I'm talking about. Wow.
That's what he wanted, for everybody to get together. No matter what you heard, AC, Andre Simone.
Man, Andre Simone, man, I didn't know who he was until I honestly credit you. I honestly credit you for that. I ain't gonna lie, man, because like I seen Andre Simone, and I remember me always saying he looked like Prince, but I never listened to him, man. And Daniel wasn't even listening to Andre Simone like that, and his brother is always.
What up, D?
Yeah, at that time he wasn't, and if he was, I didn't know about it. And so we was all Prince. So I'm like Andre Simone, and then you lent me this album right here, and I taped it. This was when motherfuckers had, I'm old school, because this is when motherfuckers had turntables hooked on to the cassettes and all that. You could record the shit.
These kids wouldn't know what to do now. They were looking lost.
They wouldn't know nothing about that shit.
They the CD, they wouldn't know what to do.
They wouldn't know nothing about that shit.
That was crazy.
And I made a dub of it. Y'all know it well. The new school don't necessarily know about dubbing from cassette tape to, man, goddamn, I'm giving away too much of my age, y'all. But anyway, right. But anyway, that right there, I was sold when I heard Kelly's Eyes. But when I heard Voice on the radio, I was like, that's it. And I went back, and he did other albums. He did Surviving in the 80s, and Jerry let me get all that. And then he put that album out with Prince, The Dance Electric, and the whole world.
I remember hearing this in Ritz Club.
Ritz Club was slick.
The new way to Ritz.
Yeah.
It was the first time I heard. I was like, this is tight. I'm like, I kept reading up and it said a former bass player, Prince. I'm like, what? So I ran looked at the back of the album. I said, wow, that is, dude. So that is. I said, okay, AC. Then I said, maybe he'll put some music that's not like him, but sort of like him, though.
And he did, because the thing with that was everything that he was doing. He was like, "Fuck that! I got something to say. I want to let my shit be out here, and I want the world to know what I'm about."
AC, he was
AC was a big help in helping Prince get to where he was at. He stayed with AC and his family. They took him in.
And he played like every day. They played, every month. Together. In the basement, wherever they played, they was jamming.
So if anybody knew Prince, it was him. More
that cat knew better than just somebody else.
That which was deep, and it's like, I was like, God dang, man. I was like, AC Cole. He more on the new wave tip.
Yeah.
Because he was pushing the envelope a little more than Prince, because Prince record label wanted him to stay where he was at, and I don't know if he particularly wanted to be there, but he might have.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted to be there. Well, I know.
Well, everything he went through is selfish.
So that's probably why he was doing all that stuff.
Which is pretty crazy, man.
AC, he heard and got up on that stuff quick. After he did that one, he like, all right, this new way stuff ain't for me no more.
Yeah, but I mean, he started producing Jody Watley, and her shit was phenomenal. I went to her concert, me and Daniel went to a couple of her shows, man, and he was on stage with her. and it was. I was like, wow, we tripped because we was like, that's Andre Simone. Because you know how we was, and we was like, whoa. And he right there in the corner with his keyboard set up and everything, and had his hat on, man. He didn't have no bass. He had like this, he was set up kind of like, he had a studio thing, but I mean, like when he would play bass with her, he would come from around that. But it was slick. I was like, wow. He had put all of his all into her, and she was hot at that time. Shout out to Jody Watley.
A bunch of Grammys with him.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, he did his thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Be a producer. You know, I would love to find an artist like that to produce and give some music to. You know, and when it comes down to that, you know. But, yeah, he was doing his thing too. He made his staple, and Jam and Lewis, you already know what they did.
They was on fire. They did everybody. They was on fire.
them men, man, they was.
I'm gonna play one of the other boys right here from the Minneapolis crew.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna let you talk about them. I'm gonna let you talk about this man right here,
Jesse Johnson.
There you go.
I was a Jesse fan.
That man is from Chicago. He moved to Minneapolis.
I was a Jesse fan. I heard this. I was like, "What he did it?" I said, "I heard this song before." Then I kept listening. I said, "Wait a minute."
Played it like the one. It's like they got a different name on it for the '94 East. It ain't the same name. It's If You See Me Walking or something. It's a totally different name.
94 East. Easy name, you can't even forget that name because wherever you go,
you're going 94 East.
Okay.
Yep. Now see, it's the same song.
Yeah, it did change that one lick. It really did.
No, wait till he get into the lyrics. It's the same song, but he got more of a swing melody to it. It's a jazzy.
More and more lately. You know, all the other groups
they did, yeah. I like all of them though, but I just like Prince's version the better. But I think all of them was slick.
Man, what the heck?
I like 94 East version. I do. I hate to say it, but I like it. They jammed the shit out.
That's why I said I picked that one. They were like, "Don't pick that one." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm picking that one." I'm picking that one. Probably with the Jesse version, probably.
Nah, I like Jesse's version.
Probably Jesse type too, so you can't go wrong with either one you like.
You can't.
You like all three of them? I like all three of them.
Yeah, all three of them versions is top notch. You can't take away from none of them.
We'd be here all night talking about this cat.
Yeah, we would. Yeah, we will. We definitely will, man. He was a legend in his own right, man, and he was a legend to the world. And this is his version of
it. He was acting crazy. Probably 2-3 in the morning. Him and
he was.
Him and Morris probably hanging around.
Yep. Man, listening to this.
Morris all in 1999.
You do.
Like 2-3 in the morning, they was like, Morris probably like, man, I'm tired of all get out.
Yeah.
Morris was ready to go party somewhere.
And he was just like fucking George Clinton and Sly like man, 4 in the morning. Yeah.
Like, I'm just waking up. Let's go. Like, really?
And he like, I ain't slept yet. Shit.
You gotta sleep, bro.
Yeah, for real. Now, this version here, same version. This is Prince, the man himself. This is my favorite version. I remember, man, I remember I sent this version. I sent it to you, but I sent it to Quentin when Prince first died. And Quentin was like, dude, that's the raw shit I ever heard about Prince. He couldn't believe it. He was like, ooh. He was losing his mind when he heard this shit.
Mike, he forgot all about Jesse Johnson version. In this version,
I did too.
I
did too.
Said, dude,
I did too.
We used to bump Jesse's version all the time.
Yeah, I did too. I forgot about it too.
I'm like, okay,
You was the one that said Jesse Johnson had that version. I forgot about it too. I mean, it's like I hadn't heard it in years, and then I hear this version. I'm like, wow. I was in the bed with my wife, 2016, at my house. We was upstairs. We hadn't moved to the basement yet. And this nigga sent me a text at like 9 in the morning. And it said, OMG, Prince is dead. And I said, ah. I Scooby-Dooed on the motherfucker. I was like,
I didn't believe it.
I fucking, my heart got to beating fast. And my wife was like, what's wrong, baby? I said, Prince is dead. And she said, no way. And then she looked it up and she did his name, and they said they didn't know if it was him in the house. And then like 2 hours later, they verified it was Prince. And I said, oh, shit.
I cut on the radio.
Couldn't believe it.
It sounded like they was playing the Prince channel that day. I mean, as soon as I got off radio, was playing on 50, they had the Prince channel already going. I'm like, what? I said, oh, wow, really?
Couldn't believe it, bro. It just.
When they was like, man, you heard? I'm like, yeah, I heard about it 2-3 hours ago. My wife, I like, she knew how much I knew. My wife knew how much I was. If she said, she'd be like, I come home from work, and this joke out here blasting that Prince music.
Man, my mom and my wife, and my daughter and them was there, and I cried. I cried like a baby, man. I ain't gonna lie. I let that shit out, and I was like, I can't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I'm like first Michael Jackson now, and it was just, I'm like first Pac, then Biggie. That's what it felt like. I ain't lying, cause you know you got the music world, and then you know, and you got the rap world. You got Pac and Biggie, but then you got the music world. You got Michael and Prince. I'm like, what the fuck part of the game is this?
Two of the biggest stars in the world.
That shit fucked my head up, man. It fucked my head up, but like a lot of these, like Kobe Bryant fucked my head up.
Yeah, that messed me up too. I couldn't believe that.
I rest in peace to him and his daughter.
The whole, everybody knows, like helicopter, everybody in there.
Oh,
that was crazy. I like, couldn't believe that either. You got the kid.
That fucked me up.
I'm trying to find it on CNN. I'm going to MSNBC, and I'm trying to find it all the channels. I don't hear nothing about. 10 minutes later, ESPN, breaking news. I'm like, you gotta be kidding.
Fucked everybody up.
Mamba too. I'm like,
I was like, Black Mamba, but his daughter.
Yeah.
Black Mamba's daughter. I was like, oh gosh. That hurt my heart, bro.
This year sucks when people die.
That hurt my heart. Don't say the year sucks, because the next year could be worse.
I know that's right.
I heard some rest in peace to a friend of mine that told me that, and he was like. 2015, I was like, and I was going through some shit in 2015, and I'm like, this year is fucked up, and this is the worst year of my life. And he was like, don't say that, because you'll be in what if you be in another year totally different from this year that's twice as worse, and this is that year. So I can't say that. I can't say this is that year, because I don't know what 21, 22, 23, 24 gonna bring, you know. And we going through it. The world is going through this. The world is going through it, but God is allowing us to get through this shit. Man, I ain't lying, he is. The ones that's got that strong faith and ain't based on evil and hatred, you know, we'll get through it. If not, we with God. But the thing is, it's like it's gonna get worse before it gets better. There is a stop to it. Man. You know, I want to close this note on a bright one and let everybody know that we got much love for Prince, and all of y'all that's got love for Prince, tune in, check us out. Much love. We'll see y'all soon. Peace.
Love y'all.